Your narrative is back. I think one way I can be of service, because remember, I don't know. I'm saying it's not a joke. When I say I don't know what's going on, part by not knowing, sort of how I got on the radar in your thing. I often say, like, how long has San Francisco been a game? I mean, how long have we been doing this? But I mean, all I ever wanted was, I was actually trying to. I have something happened to me, and I have a nerve condition. I mean, I would go even going to study political thought, like, was in and of itself. I'm getting to something that might be of service. In and of itself, I mean, I was playing a game like I was gonna. I no one believed me. I was in like had this nerve problem or what it came from. So I like did a game like on my family like where I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to graduate school. Okay, that in and of itself was like so I have never been. I always have something else I'm doing, and I've been helped down here, or I help myself, and there are people I'm like helping with your thing. So I don't mind. I mean, things that couldn't have been. They're always getting slightly better for me. But no. But wait a minute. We're doing a political activity. Here's the thing that we don't know, because I mean, it's like everything's so inexplicable. But like, let me put it this way: the thing I mentioned a number of times what I would hope is when that guy was like, "What's up, coach?" Like that sort of your thing runs itself, and that like a lot of people are working off that it's meant to be like processed, and that there's other people playing in it, but like maybe for whatever reason, probably because where I come from or something, or because I keep buying computers or something, like they're like I'm the other people are motivated in the thing, like because I make so many videos or something, like they but they were doing something together, but like I don't know where the other people doing what I'm doing are, sort of something like that. But here's the thing: you gotta understand when I get come and like ask people, and they're like, "Yo, like, what are you talking about?" The whole thing is like everyone like doesn't, says they don't know. My inclination is like, "Oh, cool!" Like they're having some kind of political movement that's also like some type of like philosophy of like life or something that has to do with like like everyone plays their like the role, and they're like, what do if anyone asks, you don't say anything because like you figure it out for yourself. Like that's kind of cool. Like I could dig that, and we're helping with a political like project. But at the same time, like I'm saying, when I was in that like think tank, like that like psychoanalysis think tank, I'm saying where all like political thing was happening there too. You gotta understand your like California thing. When that guy they sent in like to follow me around or whatever, I don't know what he came in. He said, I don't know what I'm here, and he followed me around. But then he started going in the garbage, and he like found the way people do your game here, like people in the psychoanalysis place were doing it too, but they were doing it in a way that was like flawed. Like your thing's airtight, like you really can't tell. Like you really can't tell, and it's all like, but no, like I mean, people in there were like doing the same thing, but it was like really primitive. So the guy came up to me one day. He's like, "Hey, Steve, like see, I know you know a lot about political things. Like, I want to ask you a question about the Nazis." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, you see, and he started like asking me questions, and what was clear is that he'd gone in the garbage. And I had I rip pages out of books and like save the ones I want and throw out the book or something. Or something, like I keep them in a journal sometimes. And I said, my God, like he's asking me, he not know I noticed, like he's asking me questions. He's gone in the garbage. There's a big garbage area. He's pulled out the pages on the bombing of Dresden and about like Adolf Hitler, and he's like asking me questions on the sections I underlined. I said, like, what is this? So I went to go talk. So So I went and go talk to the doctor there. Like it's like, listen. Can you get this guy to stop following me around? Because the thing is, he asked me questions, but now he started going in the garbage. He's pulling out books about politics and stuff, and he's asking me like questions. Like, I mean, can you get him to stop, or like get him to let me get this guy away from me? And he said, Stephen, you see, I'll tell you what the truth. You see, I think that when you were a little kid, you see, in order to survive living with your father, you had to be kind of paranoid because that kept you safe. But the problem is now as an adult, like, you get paranoid. And I think that's very sad. So my inclination was like, oh, he's of limited intelligence. I mean, he like doesn't believe why, because the guy goes in a garbage can. But the thing is, then I get to your thing, and I find out like the people in your thing do that too. So like I'm saying, okay, so your thing was going on, like that guy was like, lying to me or whatever. But like the point is this, like your thing is so it's such a movement. Like so when I went and I'm getting to something, I'm getting to why I don't know how to be a service sometimes, in like with healthcare or anything. When that doctor like told me like I said yeah, but this guy they dragged out of that place. He said blue isn't a safe color. Like but turns out down here you're like doing a color thing. And then he said, yeah, well, see, he would like harm the movement. So I said, oh boy. But the other thing was when I told him like he wanted to talk about race and like racism or something. And he like said something that indicated I might be a racist, and I got really angry. And like I said, they accused me that in the place or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that hurt, didn't it? It hurt. Like, you're not a racist. We know you're not a racist. And like what started to come out in the conversation is that like the doctor in there like knew I wasn't a racist. Like and that like that he right. That's just they like just want like interrogating you as though you were a racist. That like they knew they didn't think I was a racist. Like that was part of the game or whatever. Okay, so like this is so big your thing and so many. It's such a movement that like, but I don't know what's on the other side of it. Like, so it's obvious like sociologists and like when I don't know some kind of psychohistorians like like people study the psychology of history and like. But I mean, the degree to which it's so big. I mean, when I ordered the copy of the Weather Underground DVD in the place I was in and everything, and noticed that they'd taken out of frame like the Bernadine Dorn thing, like originally the old footage of her on the news, where they're like a 30-year-old lawyer named Bernadine Dorn, and when I ordered my copy and watched it. The word 30 had been taken out. It said a lawyer named Bernadine Dorn, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Like they probably like know that like a lot of people are like maybe young people like inspired by this, but a lot of them are older and like they didn't want anyone to psychologically like if you thought like you were too old to participate in a movement or something, like they took out the 30 because there might be like 34-year-old girls watching that who are like political, like inspired by this woman. But I'm saying the degree to which like everything is part of your thing makes it where it's like I don't even know like am I like you need a person like me, or like are there a lot of people in it the way I'm in it, or what the hell's going on, or like is it just that like I survived so many rounds without killing myself that by the time I got to your thing and I was like, oh, it's a game. Like, but I mean we don't know what's on the other side, and we don't know what this movement is, or how long it's been going on, or who sees the videos. Like, we know some people see them in real time, that it's like, that's amazing. But at the same time, like, who does watch that channel? Like, is it a lot of young people watch it, or is it internal to something? You know what I mean? Like, does no one in the public see it, and it's just people in California, like, see it or something? We don't know. I mean, we hope we're helping, but it's gone on for so long. And everything that happened leading up to it is like your thing. It was just like your thing in like a way that at that time I didn't really suspect that they were doing something. Like, oh, so that guy knew I wasn't paranoid about the guy going in the garbage. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they knew I wasn't a racist. Like, okay, so I'm saying like, but at no time was this my chosen profession. It's just that it lines up perfectly with like the fact that I wanted to be left alone to heal and don't want to speak to my family. The fact that my family appears to know about your thing, those are like synchronicities that happen, but I haven't trusted my family for a long time anyway. They always lie. So the degree that they know you're doing a thing down here, like, yeah, I mean, they never tell the truth. But I mean, like, I love to help, but I mean, I want to tell you more about how big your movement is, okay? You have a gigantic movement.